Welcome to this deep dive, everyone. We're here exploring ways to find more daily harmony in your life.
That's right.
And have you ever had those times where things just flow? You know, like
Oh.
a weight just lifts off your shoulders, or maybe you find exactly what you need right when you need it.
Yeah, seemingly out of the blue.
Exactly. That feeling, that unexpected ease, maybe,
Oh.
or just feeling held, supported. That's really our focus today. We're diving into this idea called grace.
And we're using A Course in Miracles to guide us, specifically looking at Lesson 168. The title is pretty direct. Your grace is given me. I claim it now.
I claim it now. Okay.
So our mission, if you like, for this deep dive is to really unpack what that means. What is this grace? And maybe more importantly, how can you actually access more of that divine ease and support? That's a phrase we found helpful in your day-to-day life.
Divine ease and support. I like the sound of that.
We've pulled together some insights from, study guides on the lesson, briefing documents, the actual text of Lesson 168 from the Course Workbook, and some general overviews.
Great. So, okay, divine ease and support. Sounds lovely, but let's get down to basics here. When the Course talks about grace, what are we really talking about? What does it look like? Feel like?
Well, looking across the different sources, there's a real consistency. Grace is presented as something fundamental, a gift.
The gift.
Yeah. And it's described as freely given. It's always present. And crucially, it's actually an inherent part of who you already are.
So it's not something outside of me I need to chase after.
Exactly. Think of it less like something you have to go out and find and more like the underlying support system of the universe itself. Always there, always available.
Huh. So it's not like getting a reward for good behavior or ticking certain boxes. Because honestly, that's often how we think about getting good things, isn't it?
It really is, and that's a key distinction the sources make. Grace isn't earned. It doesn't depend on specific actions or, meeting some standard of worthiness. It's not some kind of cosmic reward system. It's presented much more as your birthright, an intrinsic part of existence itself.
My birthright. Wow.
Yeah. One source puts it pretty simply. Grace is a gift from the universe that is always available to us. And understanding that is really important because it connects directly to feeling more peace inside, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And experiencing more love, feeling that deeper connection to, well, whatever you conceive of as being larger than just your individual self.
Okay, that makes sense. But if it's always there, like you said, this inherent support system,
Yeah.
why the emphasis on claiming it now? Why do we have to do something? Shouldn't it just work
Yeah.
automatically?
Right. That's such a good question, and it's crucial. Think of it maybe like Wi-Fi. The signal might be broadcasting constantly,
Okay.
but just because the signal's there doesn't mean your phone is connected. You actually have to, select the network, maybe put in a password. You take an action.
Ah, I see. So grace is the signal, but we need to connect.
Kind of, yeah. While grace is always present, claiming it is about consciously tuning in. It's about acknowledging it, accepting it, opening yourself up to it.
So it's an internal action.
Yes. And that act, that claiming, it reinforces your awareness that you are inherently connected to what the Course often calls the source of love and peace. It helps dissolve those, persistent feelings of being separate, alone, or unsupported.
So the claiming is almost like flipping a mental switch,
Mm.
saying, okay, I'm open now.
Exactly. You got it. Claiming grace is really about aligning yourself with a deeper reality. The Course might call it a higher truth about who you are.
Hmm.
And it means intentionally shifting your focus, moving away from what the sources call those ego-based perceptions, the thoughts that are always telling you about lack, fear, separation, struggle.
The usual suspects.
The usual suspects, yeah. And instead, turning towards recognizing the abundance, the support, the love that's actually inherent in the situation, even if it's hidden.
Okay, conceptually, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But the messy reality of daily life, right? How do we actually do that? How do we integrate this idea of claiming grace when, the car breaks down or you've got a deadline breathing down your neck or you're just having a really crummy day?
Yeah, practical application is key. And the sources definitely offer some tools. One that comes up repeatedly is mindfulness.
Okay, like meditation or just paying attention.
More like actively paying attention throughout your day. Observing, acknowledging those moments where you do feel that ease or you get that unexpected help. Those little glimmers of grace that we often just brush past.
So noticing the good stuff, basically.
Yeah, but consciously linking it to this idea of grace. Think about maybe a moment in nature that just stops you in your tracks and gives you a sense of peace.
Okay.
Or an unexpected kindness from a stranger. Or maybe even a problem you were stressing about just resolves itself more smoothly than you thought possible. The idea is to pause. Really notice the feeling that comes with it.
Ah, the feeling.
Yes. And recognize that feeling as an expression of this inherent available grace.
So it's like training yourself to see it, to look
Oh,
for it maybe, instead of just letting the difficulties dominate your attention. Can you give us a few more really concrete examples? What might this look like for someone listening right now?
absolutely. Okay, so think about finding the perfect parking spot right near the entrance when you're late and the lot is packed.
Huh. Yes. Definitely feels like grace then.
Right. Or maybe a difficult conversation you were absolutely dreading turns out to be surprisingly okay, even productive.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or receiving a text message with just the right words of encouragement exactly when you felt like giving up. Or even just a sudden insight like, oh, that solves a problem you've been stuck on for ages.
Okay.
The point is to start seeing these not just as random luck or coincidence, but as actual tangible evidence of that underlying support, manifestations of grace.
That really reframes things, doesn't it? What about affirmations? I think I saw that mentioned too. How do they fit?
Yeah, affirmations are definitely another tool suggested. The idea is to create and then regularly repeat phrases that resonate with you. Something like, I am open to receiving grace now, or I claim my divine right to peace and support.
So saying it out loud or in your head.
Either way, whatever works for you. These affirmations act as reminders. They help keep the idea of grace top of mind and cultivate that feeling of being receptive.
Like planting a seed, consciously telling your mind, hey, this grace thing is real and I'm available for it.
Exactly that. By consistently affirming your openness, you gently start to shift your focus, your expectations. It makes you more likely to actually notice and accept grace when it shows up.
Okay. And the sources mention specific exercises too, right?
Yeah.
Beyond just general mindfulness or affirmations.
Yes, two main ones were highlighted, meditation and journaling.
Well,
For meditation, the suggestion isn't just general mindfulness, but dedicating some time specifically to feeling the experience of grace. You could visualize it maybe as warm light surrounding you, protecting you. And really importantly, allowing yourself to feel deserving of that support, that warmth, that unconditional love.
feeling deserving. That's interesting. Why is that so important for receiving grace? It's supposed to be free, right? Not based on deserving.
It is free, absolutely. But here's the thing. If deep down you carry a belief that you don't deserve good things or support or ease, you might unconsciously push grace away when it arrives.
Ah, like self-sabotage.
Kind of, or you might just explain it away, attribute it to luck or someone else's kindness, rather than accepting it as something meant for you, as your inherent right. So the meditation helps gently challenge those underlying I'm not worthy beliefs. It opens you up to receive more fully.
Got it. Okay. And the other exercise,
Oh.
journaling.
Right, journaling. The idea here is to actively reflect on past experiences of grace. Maybe take 5 minutes and think back over the last week or even just yesterday.
Good.
Jot down specific moments where things felt easier than expected or where help arrived seemingly out of nowhere. Remember how it felt, what thoughts came up, maybe what you learned, if anything.
So it's like building your own personal evidence file, proof that grace has actually been operating in your life, even if you didn't call it that before.
Precisely. It makes the whole concept less abstract, more real, more personal. And this actually leads nicely into a really potent reflection question that emerged from the sources.
Okay, what is it?
It's this. How can I actively claim and integrate the grace that is available to me in my daily life, and what internal barriers might be preventing me from doing so?
Ooh, that's a deep one. It gets you thinking on two levels, doesn't it? Practical steps and the inner stuff.
Exactly. The doing and the being, or maybe the undoing of the blocks.
So what kinds of internal barriers do people typically run into with this when trying to embrace this idea of freely available grace?
Oh, they can be quite varied, but common ones often include those really deep-seated feelings of unworthiness we just talked about,
Yeah.
or a really ingrained belief that life has to be a struggle, that you have to fight and strive for everything good, that ease is somehow lazy or undeserved.
Right, the no pain, no gain mentality.
Exactly, or just a tendency to focus on what's missing, what's wrong, rather than acknowledging what's actually present and supportive. And sometimes it's just plain old skepticism, disbelief that this kind of support could actually exist.
So it requires some honest self-reflection, identifying those thought patterns or beliefs
Yeah.
that keep us feeling separate from that grace.
Yes. Gently noticing them without judgment is the first step.
We talked earlier about defining grace as divine ease and support. Can we circle back to that, maybe connect it more explicitly to some real-world examples? What does grace in action look like using that definition?
Absolutely. Let's think about it. That divine ease and support. Consider a time you were facing something really tough, a major challenge.
Right.
And maybe you suddenly felt a surge of strength you didn't know you possessed. Or perhaps unexpected help just showed up the right person, the right resource. That feels like divine ease and support in action, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
Or what about forgiveness? Think about those moments when you manage to forgive someone, or maybe even forgive yourself, and it feels surprisingly easy, like a weight lifts.
That flow.
That flow is grace, that ease in letting go, and those sudden aha moments we mentioned, flashes of clarity, sudden insights where a problem that seemed impossible just clicks into place.
Yeah.
That too can be seen as grace. Divine support showing up as mental clarity, as inspiration. These aren't just random occurrences, according to this perspective. They're manifestations of this always present grace.
Wow. Seeing it that way really changes how you might look back at your life or even just your day instead of just, oh, that was lucky. It's, that was grace.
Exactly. It shifts the entire narrative. And this brings us to another really crucial element that the sources emphasize, our readiness to receive.
Readiness to receive.
The very act of claiming grace, like the lesson says, implies you're willing, you're open, you're ready to accept this gift.
So it's not passive.
No, it's an act of allowing. It's about consciously making space in your mind, in your heart, in your life for the possibility of being supported,
Yeah.
for things unfolding with more ease than maybe your ego expects.
Hmm.
The sources even talk about embodying divine favor, which sounds a bit grand, maybe,
A little bit.
but it essentially just means allowing yourself to be the recipient, letting yourself be helped, be supported by this inherent grace that's always flowing.
So it's not just about understanding the idea in your head. It's about cultivating that state of receptivity, saying yes to it.
Precisely. It's a fundamental shift, really.
Yeah.
Moving away from a mindset that's maybe rooted in a constant effort, striving, and needing to control everything.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Towards one that includes trust, openness, and allowing the support that's always there to actually flow to you and through you.
Okay, so if we were to boil this all down, bring everything together from this deep dive into Lesson 168, what's the most important takeaway for someone listening right now?
I think the core message really is this. Grace isn't something out there that you need to chase or earn or prove you're worthy of. It's already here.
Already here.
Yeah. It's a freely given aspect of your very being, always present, always available. The power, the shift happens when you consciously recognize that and then actively claim it. Right here, right now.
And making that choice, choosing to claim it, what difference could that really make in someone's life, day to day?
Well, the potential benefits are huge, according to this teaching. By consciously claiming grace, you open the door to experiencing more inner peace, definitely. More love, both giving and receiving, a stronger sense of connection, less isolation, and just generally an overall feeling of being supported, of things flowing with more divine ease and abundance.
That sounds like a truly worthwhile practice.
Yeah.
A powerful invitation, really.
It is.
So for you listening, maybe just take a moment now. Consider this. What's one tiny step, maybe just one small thing you could do today to consciously acknowledge and claim the grace that the Course says is already yours? What might shift for you, even just a little bit, if you truly started to believe in and embrace this inherent support?
It's a powerful question to sit with.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into A Course in Miracles Lesson 168 as part of your journey towards daily harmony.